Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us again. Today, I have the privilege of speaking to Glenda Kemp Harper. Welcome, Glenda. It's such a privilege to have you. Thank you for spending this time with us.
Thank you, Tertia. It's wonderful to be here, and I'm excited to give and to tell what a wonderful God we serve. You're going to have a few surprises.
I know, Glenda, your story is just so intriguing and so interesting and also just so encouraging and uplifting. Now, please tell us, who was Glenda and who is Glenda now?
The Bible teaches me you have to look forward, forget what is in the past. Oh, Lord, I do. I just keep my eyes on you. But then the Lord says, unless you can glorify me with your past, then you can bring it forward. And this is why I'm going to tell you who I was, the person that actually God has taken that past and turned it around. And that is why I'm talking to you, because if God didn't take that past and do something with it, I would never be able to tell you about the wonderful things he's done in my life and what he wants to do in your life. So thank you, God, for the past that you have taken it and just turned it into something beautiful. If you look at a few newspaper clippings, you will find out that Glenda Kemp was a very naughty girl. The newspapers say so. I was banned. I was banned everywhere, around every corner. If I was on Scope, front page or center page, and I would be banned. You know why? Because my mouth was slightly open. I would be banned. I once was asked to do a TV program, just totally with all my clothes on. It was a comedy. And churches banned me. Churches actually said that Glenda Kemp, that was me, was responsible for the drought that hit the country. Wow, what sort of person was I? I actually, whichever town I was going to appear in, but by the way, you don't know me, young people. What did I do to deserve this? How bad was I? Another thing they did, before I tell you who I was I was a nude dancer. Yes, that's me. I was a nude dancer. But don't forget this picture. No, not that one. Okay, don't forget this picture. Because anything I'm telling you and everything I'm telling you, Jesus' cross is in front of it. He is covering it. Because it's been handed over to him and it's not my problem anymore. So I was the first striptease dancer, the first nude dancer. I was the first case for strippers against striptease dancing, against nude dancing, that went right up to the Supreme Court. And I was found guilty of public indecency after winning the case and having artists of South Africa watching the show and saying that it is artistic. Then I caused so much, such a, what? People all sat up. What do you call the word? I just kicked up so much dust that I kicked up so much dust that a movie director called de Villiers decided, wow, he's going to make my life story, put it on film. And at that time I was young and I didn't tell the truth because I wasn't. Although I knew Jesus at 16, I was not walking with him. And I did not like anybody to know the truth because, you see, the truth had not set me free yet, the real truth. So that story wasn't my life story. It was just a bunch of lies. But that movie just gave me so much publicity. And that movie today causes me embarrassment, but also happiness, because there were scenes in there that I really am very ashamed of. But it's there on the internet. And if somebody does look for Glenda Kemp, they're going to find it probably, but they're going to find one movie and they're going to find 100 testimonies of what Jesus did with that life. And my prayer is that anybody who looks at that movie or parts that are really not godly whatsoever, that God will actually talk to them, and his spirit will enter them and change them. Okay, I've got, maybe I can just show you some of the dancing photos, if that just gives you a bit an idea. And I'm sure I'm going to think of other things too, but yes, it was not nice what I did. But then, who am I now? Why am I talking to you? Why am I saying God's great? Because God knew where to get hold of me. When my child was a teenager, and just to let you teenagers know, I am still working with teenagers, and I know how vulnerable you are. I know how vulnerable mine was, and I know how vulnerable I was. And I want to bring you the wisdom of God, because he says, ask and you can get it. And I want his wisdom to enter you, so that you know that you don't make stupid mistakes. And if you do, that Jesus is there to hold you up, because we all make mistakes even when we're older. But my daughter went off the rail, and I suddenly remembered God. I couldn't do anything. I had no power. And this is why I turned to Jesus, and I met him. And he's real. He's not just a word, just like he's here now. He's more real here than what this computer is that I can touch. And he's inside of me, and he's the hope inside of me. He's a hope of what's to come. He's the hope of now, tomorrow, eternity. And when I turned to him because of my daughter, he was there. He had been there all along, and his arms were open. And you know what? It's not just that he solved my problem. It's that he put into me that no matter what the problem is and how unsolved it seems when you look with your eye, remember, don't look at what you can see. The main thing is that he was with me, and that he was teaching me to come closer to him. And this is what I have been doing. I've been hungry for God, and the more I get from him, the more I want from him. And the more real Jesus is, the more really becomes. And this is what I want for everybody. I want you to be hungry, because he's got, there's no end to what he has to give to you. And the best thing that he does give, and it's the truth, that truth that sets you free. It doesn't matter when the mountains fall around you, when the earth gives way, when you think you're never going to make it, and things just look impossible. And then that presence, just the presence, because nothing else matters. Because you know why? God is in control, and nothing can happen to you or to me that he has not ordained. So that is who I am now, just connected to the vine, and just getting from God and growing closer to him. And I can't tell you all the things I do, because when you're in God's duty, it's not like, oh, I do this, and I'm on that committee, and I'm teaching Sunday school, and I'm doing that, and I'm in the soup kitchen. No, you are on duty from the moment you wake up until you go to bed and wake up again. You are on duty. Like yesterday, I said, the day before, I said to God, in the morning, in quiet time, I have such a desire to give something to you, but I've got nothing to give, what you don't give to me. And then a name came to me, and somebody with COVID, and I said, God, I'm going to give to you my prayers. And I started praying, and I prayed for other people. And you know what? I was working for God because he was there. I was in the throne room. So whatever you do, then I was on the beach. I wasn't planning anything. And I remember a song that I always sang in the church. We sing in the church about, who shall I send? And then I said to him, God, you can send me, but actually, I don't do much, I just seem to do normal things. And I saw somebody on the beach, and they were carrying something very heavy. And I don't want to make a long story, but I just want to tell you that I helped him carry, and I took him. It was a bush person, a homeless person, and he was selling bottles, aluminium tins. And I took him where he had to be. But now the point is not of what I did, but you work for God where you are. If you're standing in a queue, start praying for the person in front of you. Just thank God for those people. Whatever, you are always on duty. There isn't a place that you have to go to serve God. That's where you stand, where your feet are, you serve God. So that's who I am today.
Thank you, Glenda. I just love the light that shines through you when you speak, especially when you speak about the Lord. And I really just appreciate your story. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and being happy to be vulnerable and to share your testimony with so much passion. Now, everyone watching has actually seen who Glenda was, and some of the younger people might not have known about Glenda until they actually saw those images that you shared, which I think is very important to just put it all nicely in perspective. So while I was reading your amazing biography that you wrote, I was just so intrigued because I couldn't put that book down. The stories you tell in there about your life is so interesting, and there's so much humor in it. You are a very humorous person as well. And you really love dancing and acting. And I want to touch on the offer that you received, the contract in America that you received when you were much younger. This was like a dream come true for you. Can you please tell us how you were approached and what you expected? Because at Stop Trafficking of People, we run a program by the name of Prevention versus Cure, where we do job vetting. And in so many cases, when people approach us to research or to look into a job offer, there are many, many red flags and many possible human trafficking situations. So this is why this part of your story really stood out to me. So can you please tell us how you were approached by these people in America and what you actually expected?
Yes, listen to this. I'm fresh from teachers college. I really haven't experienced life. I've never traveled anywhere. I just love dancing and acting. So I end up doing this strip show in Rhodesia at that time, Zimbabwe now, in a club. And I'm received very well. And then some guy comes along and he introduces himself, and he says that he owns clubs in America, in Boston, overseas. Oh, wow, I'm sure my eyes were just shooting stars. And would I be interested? What? Interested? I was ready to fly. I was so excited. You know, at that time, I really thought that anybody who came from overseas or went there, they were very special. They just had a special touch, um, and I just admired them. And it was something I just thought, oh, I'll never do that. I'll never get that opportunity. And now here comes this opportunity. I know, I just want to add something in here because I know you young people are very vulnerable. We all are actually when somebody gives us compliments and makes us feel good, we just fall for it. I just want to tell you, like my teenagers at teen church, they'll come to me and say, look, they're so excited because they've been chosen in one of these games to be part of the competition. They can enter and they can win $1 million. You see what I mean? Is that, hello? If it sounds too good to be true, it's not true. And I had to tell him, this is just to get you. Do you realize are you going to be sucked in? And this is what the devil does. He comes with interesting invitations, and he puts this in front of you. And this is what happened to me at that time too. And this is what you've got to watch out for. And the more excited you are about it, and the better it feels, make sure that you have a godly person to go and discuss it with and let people know what your steps are. So I had to tell them that they're just drawing you in because now you're not going to sleep anymore. The devil's going to really get your mind because these games you're playing against people from all countries and you won't sleep. And you're going to just get to a point where the devil wants you because you're not going to have a sound mind anymore. And anyway, this is what happens when you get offers like I just got then for America. I was so excited. I was going to be a star. Somebody had recognized my talent. Before I knew it, I had an air ticket in my hand. I was petrified because really I didn't even know how to behave myself in a plane. I mean, I didn't know what to expect anyway. I was watching silent movies, and I wondered why on a plane do they show silent movies? And only much later did I find out, wow, you have to buy earphones. I didn't know these things. I just knew nothing. Just to show you where I was in my mind. And I was really looking forward to this experience. The place where I was sure that the pavements were made of gold and I was just going to be a star. Although I was a bit scared because, I couldn't wait to see the other performers because how did I compare? And that was my expectations on cloud 9.
Glenda, thank you so much. Now, you've now explained to us how it all came about, and you are now on the plane, or you have your tickets, and you're on the plane, and you are watching a silent movie. I just love that. I would have made the same mistake, most probably myself. So now tell us, when you got to your destination, what did you discover about where you went to and about the job that was offered to you?
Yes, this is a story of a beautiful soap bubble that intrigued me and that pulled me in, and of a very sharp long pin that came and popped the bubble. And I was not off that plane for a very long time before the bubble started wobbling. The first thing that happened when I was in Boston, on the way to my accommodation, it was still okay, but the first thing that shocked me because, well, first of all, everything looked rather drab, you can actually paint such wonderful pictures in your mind and be totally unrealistic. And it just people, wherever you go, people are people. They love, they hate. they're happy, they're sad, they've got it. People are people. It doesn't matter where you are, and wherever you're going to go in the world, you're taking yourself with you. So you can't ever run away to any place from yourself. You've got to make peace with God, and so start to love yourself and have peace with yourself. So what I saw with my eyes, the first thing that shocked me, there was a riot. There was people were protesting, and I asked the guy, what are they protesting against? And then I saw the banner that they were turning against, that they wanted no black children or people in their buses. I nearly fell off my seat because I came away from South Africa, away from this. And I was expecting that sort of freedom in Boston. I believe it must have changed. It has changed now. But this is what I encountered, the first impression that I had. So that was not nice. Now I get to my accommodation. It's down in a basement flat. How can I tell you this story without bringing God into it? It's not possible, because you see, if God was not, if I was not, if you could have seen me there, and if I could have seen, you know what you can't see? The spiritual realm. Now I'm telling you now that when I walked down those steps into that flat, there were angels around me. That's what you can't see. And you know why? Because prayer was covering me from head to toe. It's a long story, but I had foster parents and they were praying for me and they believed in me. And they didn't even know what I was up to there. They didn't know what was going to happen to me. And I actually had turned my back on them, which makes it worse, but which makes it more beautiful because it shows you how faithful God is. God is so faithful to these people. He covered me with his blood and with his angels around me. So I know if that was not the case, can I just tell you something? You would not be looking at me now. I wouldn't exist. I would have just disappeared into nothing. I would have been dead. Wow. Okay. God is with me. And that is why I have a story to tell. Prayers are with me. Pray for people. It works. God is a faithful God. I walk into this flat and you know who I'm staying with? It's a single lady, a single mom. She's got a 4-year-old daughter and her place is lovely. And she welcomes me into her house and I have a lovely bedroom. And she says, I'm welcome to eat what I want in the fridge. She doesn't know why she took me in, but somehow she just did, because that's not where the other girls live. Number one, where God was in it for me. Right, so God is good, and this is going to be good. I've got a nice place to stay. And that night, I was going to the club to see the performances. I'm going to do my show. I hope it's better than the others. We arrive at this club in the evening. It's so dark. You can hardly see. Then I see in the corner, and it looks like a little stage with some lights shining on somebody, but that's not a performance. That's like she's just dropping her clothes. That's not an act. I look around me, but now there's other girls, and all of a sudden I'm surrounded. They look at me as if I'm from another planet. And I'm thinking, you guys are from another planet. Do you know what they ask me? They look down at my feet and they say, how come you wearing shoes? Huh? Africa doesn't have shoes. They don't wear shoes. And how did you get to the airport? Did you have to pass lions? Huh? These people knew nothing about South Africa. It was just Africa. And I knew nothing about what was going on there, and especially in that club. So it turns out, I realized with a big shock, and this is where the bubble really pops. I'm in a brothel. Oh God, Russell, yes, I'm in it. I'm in it. I don't know. I can't run away. I've got a contract. I had a legal contract. Um, I'm I don't know anybody. And do you know that my family in South Africa did not know where I was exactly? If I disappear then, um, nobody could contact me. It was just, I was an alien. I was away. I was gone. And they showed me where the dressing room was. Up little steps I went. And you go down again to the stage. So I just went like a robot. I did what I had to do. The music was like sleazy jazz music, and I still don't like that type of music. It reminds me of that time. And the girls were just dropping their clothes, and then the men, they had numbers, and the men gave the numbers to somebody, and then the girl was told to go with that man. So now it's my turn, and the one thing you can never take away from me is when I dance. I just dance with my heart. And you know what? Today I'm still dancing. I'm dancing for the Lord. He's so good. And it's so great to dance for him. But at that stage, the angels around me, his faithfulness protecting me, I danced. And when my South African music started, Ipitombi, and that beat of the drum, and I just forgot totally where I was. And you know what? I gave them the performance of my lifetime on that little stage, and normally I need space. And I could escape just for them. And everybody, the whole club stopped, because this was like I said in my book, it's eating caviar at a takeaway. It was like a shock to them too. And I don't think, I think it's like also, throwing your pearls to the swine, because they didn't know, or they didn't expect, and they couldn't care maybe, but they were shocked too. They were impressed, I suppose, but they were interested in other things. So I don't know what my number was, but I was told that I am in demand. Oh God, I had one thing going for me, and I was going to take this, grab it, and use it to save myself. You see, what I did in the show, I had Mama Tembu's wedding. I danced that, and I had a glass of champagne, but it wasn't champagne, it was oil inside. And I would pretend to drink it, and then drip the oil down my neck and down my body. And I had long hair, and then I would rub myself with oil to the music, not godly whatsoever, but remember God, the cross in front. All this was taken away from me. So it was a blessing, because my hair was long and it was full of oil. And you know what? I think I had 3 or 4 shows. I worked all night, and I had a few shows to do. The same one, because the people would move out and move in. So I decided, I've got to wash my hair. I'm sorry, I can't go out to anybody. I can't see anybody, because I must get ready for the next show. And I started washing my hair, and I washed my hair, and I took a long time to wash my hair. And then it was time for the next show, and I could go and dance and pour the oil, and again, wash my hair, wash my hair. And I never ever went down. And when prayers are answered, the owner of the club, or the manager, came to see me. Now, you can tell me what you like, but this is not normal. This is a miracle. And he says to me, we can see that you're not this type of girl. You don't have to go down. Just do your dancing, and we'll cancel your contract after a month. So for a month, I just danced and washed my hair, and nobody bothered me. And in this time also I had to, just before I came home, I had to go and see New York. And I went to New York, and being so unprepared, somebody followed me, and I just ran back to the airport and back to Boston. So I actually saw New York, only saw it with my eyes. But that's just by the way, just another experience. Okay, so yes, now do you understand what could have happened to me? Guys, please don't be vulnerable. Don't look. What matters in your life? There's only one thing that truly matters, and that's that your names are written in the book of life. That's the only thing that matters, because then, even if somebody kills you, do you know that they can only kill your body? They can never take your spirit, your soul from you. And that is what matters. It's that matters, because sometimes we look at situations and things that happened and we say, it's unfair. Where is God? But God is calling you to give, to be reborn, and to accept him, to believe that Jesus is the Son of God and he died for you. And that's all you have to do, is to believe, and go into the word, and he will open it up to you, because if you're not reborn, you don't understand the word. So be sure that your name is written in the book of life, and whatever happens, your soul will be safe. And just, but God will protect you. But you know how this is what God does. He puts that peace inside of you. He protected the disciples, if you look. But then at the end, he didn't. Well, he did. At the end, they glorified him with their deaths. And that is what they did. So you glorify God with your life, and you glorify God with your death. Don't be afraid, because it's fear of death that make people afraid and fearful and stress and get sick. So please have your names written in the book of life, and just search for Jesus. Be hungry for him, and he will feed you. And that was my experience. And don't believe. Before you go, pray. Before you do anything, pray. Then go and see somebody who loves the Lord and talk about it. And rather pray that God's will be done, and that you'll serve him where he has ordained and planned for you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Glenda. Wow, that is really a powerful testimony. What we also do in our programs is we teach people and just give tips and tools as to how to stay safe. And when it comes to the job offers, I fully agree with you. It's so important that when you do decide to make that decision, to go for that interview, to always include someone with you. Take someone with you, someone you trust. That is very, very important. Never go to an interview on your own. And Glenda, what advice would you give us, especially the younger people, when it comes to job offers, and especially job offers abroad? Is there any advice you can give us?
Well, you have to do your homework thoroughly. You know, with the internet, Google and everything, it's actually possible to go from other doors through other doors and see where you're really going to. I think that's very important. You know, at the end of the day, to really be on your knees, because it is such a vulnerable situation. And you guys know, because you've seen what has happened, and you are the experts. So I would even ask them to call you and to ask for advice, and that they follow it. Yeah, it's just such a scary situation, because I see on Facebook and I see on the internet, you know, all these easy jobs to to get, and they'll do everything, and it's just so easy. Unless you have family in the area, the place you're going to, I'm inclined to say don't go if you're young. But I know that sounds like a spoiled sport, because you also have to learn, and you have to grow wings. Like my daughter, I had to give her wings to leave me, because I must love the Lord my God with all my heart and more than anybody. I would have, if it was up to me, I would have held her tight. I would have tied her down, even up to today. But I had to give her wings. So, but she did go to my second husband's. She lived with my second husband's daughter, Christine. Thank you for that. So she had a stepping stone. So just go behind the scenes and get information. Don't get it from the person offering you the job.
Definitely. Yes, thank you for that, Glenda. I fully agree with you. And I just really want to encourage people out there, please make use of the tools that are available to you. And one of them is a program of stop trafficking of people, and it's called Prevention versus Cure. And you can go onto the website, or you can phone us, or you can WhatsApp us, and basically we will then investigate the job offers. We also investigate other contractual offers, such as modeling offers. And we also find that one of the ways that young people are drawn in is also through sports contracts. So I just really wanna encourage people listening. Please memorize our number or put it in your phone. Our number is 081 720 7181. And you can also go on the Prevention versus Cure website, which is www.preventionversuscure.com. And remember that number that I gave, you can phone it, or you can WhatsApp your message to us. So we've really tried to make it easy for people to make contact with us. And that service is free of charge. So we're an NPO, and we do have amazing supporters that support our work financially. And yes, so please do make use of Prevention versus Cure. Glenda, so I want to mention your book. So your book, Glenda Kemp, Snake Dancer. That is the biography that you wrote with your own hand. And as you mentioned earlier when you were speaking, there's a movie made of you, but it wasn't a complete picture of really who Glenda is and what you've gone through and what you've experienced. But this book, that is the real deal. And I promise you, that is one of the few books that I have read that I just couldn't put down. For one, because there are places and certain aspects that you bring up that is just so South African. And the other is, it is entertaining. It is humorous. It is interesting. It's just also like enlightening and encouraging, which I really appreciate about that book. And I really strongly recommend this book to everyone who's watching. Remember, it's called Glenda Kemp, Snake Dancer. And Glenda, could you tell us where people could find your book, please?
Yes, I just want to tell you about this book. I truly wrote it with Jesus in my fingertips. I felt his breath behind me all the time, from the first letter to the last. People told me that I can't bring him into the book until the time that I met him. And I said, no. and because this, you know, God, it's a gift from God. This book is not for sale. You can buy it on Amazon, but I give it away freely. So if you want me to send the digital one to you, you just email me, and I will forward it to you. I will send it as an attachment, and you can read it for free. And if you want the actual book, which I have got, if you will just pay the cost to get it to you, if you're in South Africa, and because you'll have to have it delivered by hand, because if you post it, I've experienced it just doesn't ever arrive. So if you want me to send you the book, just send me an email. Maybe Tertia can just give it to you again in writing sometime, but it's jddiazone@gmail.com. jddiazone. But you can find me on Facebook. If you somehow lose, don't have the connection, you can just give me a message on Facebook on my messenger, and I will gladly do it for you. And as I said, the only cost would be if you wanted the actual book, that I have to post it to you. So just the postal cost.
Yes,
that's all you have to pay.
That's extremely generous of you. Thank you, Glenda. What we'll do at the end of this video is we will put down that email address of yours. Would that be okay?
That would be fine. You're welcome.
Okay. All right. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Glenda. Is there anything else that you would like to say just in closing?
I've got lots to say.
Well, that's why I said I think we definitely, there's so many opportunities to
but just
do
thank
more
you very
recordings.
much for having me here, and I'm really impressed with what you do. I didn't quite realize. I'm so glad that you're in God's service and that you available to these young people. And if I can, I'll spread the news too. Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity for being part of what you are doing, to be part of advertising or whatever that. Just promoting it.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Glenda. Yes, it's just our hearts are to educate. Our hearts are for preventative education. That is why that program of ours that we run is called Prevention versus Cure, because prevention is better than cure. And that is why, yes, and that's why at Stop Trafficking of People, we truly want to educate children and adults as to what are the red flags, what is human trafficking. And we also just want to make people aware of the fact that it's literally all around us. It's a hidden crime. It's something that is overshadowed by so many other things, including other crimes. And yes, we just really want to help save lives, and testimonies such as yourself or from yourself is just so powerful, because it shows that it can happen to absolutely any person, it can happen anywhere. That is why we need to be informed and vigilant and use the tools that are available to us, such as prevention versus cure. So just quickly in closing from my side, I just want to remind everyone, so Stop Trafficking of People's contact number, which is also the contact number that you can contact Prevention versus Cure on, either phone or via a WhatsApp message. It is 081 720 7181. So it's actually quite an easy number to remember. And Glenda, I want to say thank you so much for your time. And I really hope that we will have a few more opportunities to hear more of your story, because you have so many testimonies. Yeah.
May I just say one more thing? Okay, it's just Deuteronomy 30 verse 20. And what is the key to life? That you may love the Lord your God, that you may obey his voice, and that you may cling to him, for he is your life. Okay,
Amen.
that's
Thank you.
my message.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Glenda. God bless you. And
you too.
thank you for being willing to also be a voice for freedom. Thank you so much, Glenda. Lots of love to you.
Bye, Tisha. Thank you.